When laying out this story, did you know what research you needed to do for each book? And at what point did you start doing your research? How does it fit into your creative process?
A lot of the research I do is generally, 'cause a lot of my books, not all, but a lot are set in London and about high society. So I will sort of have an ongoing back catalogue. I think I've got some behind me of some of the books that I'm reading, and that might be like biographies of interesting, famous people from the era. So next on my list is Antonia Fraser's Lady Caroline Lamb, which I'm really looking forward to reading. And she had this sort of torrid affair with Byron, so it's going to be great fun. But I love reading just everything about the sort of different parts of society. So I've just finished one called the Hellfire Clubs, which is much more sort of Georgian focused. But I love bringing in different elements and little strands from every bit of research that you read, and they kind of feed into the work that you do, or at least in my case they do. I think that another element is I do read a lot of other authors. I think I flagged some already, and they obviously play a part. And then I think so. The upcoming series I'm working on, which is going to be out next year, that one wasn't set in London and isn't set in London. Almost all of it is set in Dorset. And so that required a whole different level of research because a lot of it's about smuggling, which is something I dipped into previously, but I really had to know how a lot of the gangs worked, and more than just how the gangs worked, sort of how the custom officers, because there wasn't a police force back then, how they worked. So yeah, I really enjoy research and reading, and it's really hard not to go down rabbit holes and realize you spent sort of 2 hours looking up some obscure author or scientist from 200 odd years ago.
That's very exciting. I love a smuggler story. Can't wait for that.
Oh, thank you.
And have you found, is there typically something when you're about to write a story or you're ideating on a new story, is there something that pulls you in for writing it?
I think it's usually the characters and I guess the initial spark of what draws them together. Because I think that's the most important thing in any romance. Like, I love talking about the genre, I love talking about the research, but the most important thing in a romance is the two people who are going to fall in love. And I love that. So it's why are they interested in each other? Why do they meet? Why is there, in my case, usually a clash? Because they're often, not always, they're often enemies to lovers. Or even if they're not, why is there that attraction? So is it that they, I'm just trying to think of a good example. So in The Rake, she storms in on him during an orgy. And so you would
Ooh.
not think that that would be initial spark, but she has to keep seeking him out because she needs his help. So that I love that idea of like, oh no, you're the worst person in the world, but I'm going to seek you out anyway. Um, and then one of my other books, she's breaks into whites because she's determined to know why she's not eligible. And he sees her and she's dressed as a boy and he knows immediately who she is. And they can't stand each other. And it goes from there. So I love that initial, I guess it's the meet cute and what makes you just feel excited about the meet cute. It's where I start.
That's fun. That gives you a lot of momentum to get through the
Mm, yeah.
story.